You're now tuned in to the Modest Men Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Modest Men Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen,
you're now tuned into Tit. Oh, sorry.
you're now rocking with the best.
All right. This is Coach JT, and you got Chef Justin over there hanging out. He has on a very special shirt.
Get my Benny Hanna's on, working two pots.
Yeet! We are back. It is the 14th of December. 11 days until Christmas, which is crazy. Or if you're my child of mine, you'll say 10 days.
Yeet.
You got the countdown calendar going on. And first of all, start this episode off with a very special shout out to a special, not a special, a special. Shout out to no, I said special for a reason. Special.
Okay.
I don't know why, but it just sounded like saying special. I could have said special. But anyway, my big brother Paul.
Yeah.
His birthday was yesterday.
Scooby.
But I had to call him on Tuesday night because he's 17 hours ahead over in Japan. So now you tuned in. Appreciate that. He's like, the podcast is back. I said it is indeed. So yeah, we'll look forward to having you on air.
I told him happy birthday
in 2024.
yesterday, I think, even though technically it was the day after, right?
Yeah, I'm telling you, that 17 hours is weird, man. Remember, it was that last August I was in South Korea for 3 weeks, and that was the hardest part, was calling back home, right, to figure out and talking to everyone. Because, again, of the time difference. It was, you guys on the East Coast are a little closer, right? So that's 13 hours.
Right.
But it's 16. Oof. And if you're in Hawaii, it's 19. And that was one of the places where I had to fly for a layover, which was the wildest part. Huh. So, it's a whole day. Like, you just like literally living in the future. So it's wild. So
you seen what happened?
We're the Modest Men.
I ain't seen it yet.
Yeah, I know. I said, oh no, I was trying to predict the football game. So it's like, it's Tuesday. I'm playing this, placing in my futures bets. I said, it don't work like that. No, but I got a chance to see She-Hulk before everyone. So that was nice. Even though I could have saved that one. Yeah. Anyway. ExpressVPN, if you guys don't have that, that's a great VPN. If you want to stream some things or see some things that other countries have that we don't have available, download ExpressVPN.
Okay.
Did I say extreme? Maybe I said extreme. One of those. They don't pay me to this, and so I'm just saying,
that's
what's
free
up?
pub, right?
Yeah, right. There we go. Anyway, how's the weather, my brother?
Oh man. Weather's good. It's like you said, it's December 14th. It was cold this morning. It's 30s, no snow, no wind, no rain, so I can't really complain too much about that. Ain't too much else going on, man. It's midweek. It's the holiday season. We're definitely picking up. The job, we ended up starting. I was not aware of this when I signed on, but apparently we for the rest of December we will be open an hour early instead of staying open an hour later, which technically makes more sense. But who am I? I'm not the one running the business. But so there's that.
Simma.
Yeah. I'll be outside of today. I'll be at work an hour earlier than I'm supposed to be because we're open at 3 instead of 4. Who am I? But yeah, that's it.
There we go. Thank you. All right.
Sorry. You stop sidetracking me. But yeah, man, it's nothing else too much going on. It's a fine Wednesday. It's Wednesday afternoon. All's well in the neighborhood. Watering the lawn and all that, as Jason Jenkins would say. Not you, the other one.
Birds chirping.
I'm trying to think what else is going on. Oh, we're going to because I mentioned last week, we're going to the Monsters game tonight. Going to go see some hockey.
Nice.
So that's.
I've been playing NHL 24, man.
How is that? I saw it at the library.
That game,
I might rent that. How is that?
That game is incredible.
Okay.
And I didn't realize how large Austin Matthews is. Pause.
I don't.
But even to scale,
I don't know who that is. Who?
Austin Matthews is he's the center for the oh my gosh, Maple Leafs.
Okay,
Toronto. And he was the cover guy on, what was that, 22?
Maybe.
And yeah, MVP. Yeah, the dude is incredible, man. He's been in the league for, I think, 4 years, but you know, he got me, man. 6'6", of course, you know, on skates as a winger. And you know, to see the center about the same size as me on skates is the wildest part.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. And you know, the game is so real now. Like, it looks like you're on it for real. Like, you look watching the broadcast. And then it also just comes to the point of realizing, how did we ever play a game in broadcast view? Remember playing broadcast view on like 98 one year, and it's like, what are we doing? We need to play in a different capacity. So yeah.
But yeah, that's awesome, that's it, man. What's the weather like for you?
Things are well, man. Life is great. Having fun. Wrapping up these final few days of the holiday season. Yeah. Shout out, Mr. DJ Drama. Yeah. But there was a big conversation about the Mount Rushmore of trap music, I think.
Okay.
And I had to pull it up, but it was wild because someone was like excluding Wayne. You know, it's like, how do you exclude Wayne from like the era of that time frame? You can't. There's just no way possible. Like, the Dedication albums just alone was
must see, must download. You know, Dat Piff.
Oh, for sure. Right? Yeah. Sidetrack, but yeah, no, things well, man. Life is great, man. It's sunny. Got some things actually went running on Monday for a community run. If y'all in the area, come out Mondays at 5 p.m. at 1787 4th Street in Berkeley, California. We had some fun over there. We went to a restaurant, Taco Booyah, afterwards. So we try to feed y'all after we, you know, exert all that energy of running or walking, whatever you choose to do. And that was really cool, man. I'm really excited about, you know, how I feel, and my knee is holding up right now. And I've been in the backyard again, just doing some other stuff like ladders, just get my agility squared away. And that's pretty much it, man. Looking forward to 2024 and all of the fun things that brings. Blake is in Texas right now with her Yaya. And so that is fun. I just got done FaceTiming her. And yeah, man, that's it. Life is great, man. So no complaints. Got my morning Joe right now. And yeah.
Yeet.
You know, it's December. Yeet. Looking forward to, we got all types of stuff going on. Just, you know, Christmas is, of course, is the big thing, and New Year, and, you know, all of the things those things bring. But I mean, but let's talk about it. We have 7 or 8 games slated on Christmas Day, right? With NBA and NFL. Yeah, it's a fun time. I'm looking forward to that. So, yeah. But where to find us? Linktree.com/Modest Man Podcast.
Yes.
Wherever you stream your podcast. This episode will be out on Friday. And we are trying to do this weekly thing of doing Fridays. I know we won't have one next week. I don't know. Actually, we may have one next week. But if not, we will be doing a big rebrand. And so looking forward to having a ton of guests on for 2024. And yeah, some fire content for you all. So get into some topics.
Yeah.
Mr. Timor, you were in the, what is it called? It's not Gun Arena. It's not the Q anymore. What is it? The Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse?
The Romo Fijo.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
Oh, no. Don't start that shit. Stop that. No. We are not doing that. But yeah, we had quite a production in that place. So please tell us what you did on Monday night.
Oh, I mean, shout out to the homies. I linked up with Javon and Gamble, and you know the highly elusive Eric Barnett and Pete. You know, shout out to Pete. We went and kicked it over at Tower City, and you know, had some BYOB libations beforehand, and then you know we walked.
Libations.
We walked over we walked to Tower City, and they've made it look really nice down there in that whole in that area. There's the tree, and then they still got the food court over there, and the couple I guess shops where you would shop, shoe stores and clothing stores and stuff like that, because you can go to Jack Casino through Tower City. You can go, get on the Rapid, this, that, and the other. But they made it look really nice in there. It does not look run down. It doesn't look off-putting to be down there. When you're trying to get to an event at Rocket Mortgage. So we walked over. We did the walkway. You remember? I think the theater was still open because they got the movie theater in the walkway when you walk in underneath or whatever from Tower City. So.
Yeah, so
we did that.
That movie theater is still right by the food court, right?
Yeah.
Is that still there?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I get classic stories, man, of bunny hopping when I was a kid to go see 3 to 4 movies during that time frame in Tower City, and no one cared. And they had the Neo Geo system set up there. You remember that, the arcade there,
yeah.
Neo Geo? Yep, that was fun, man. Oh, the memories. Fun fact for y'all out there: Cleveland, of course, is a city. And, but I always think that everything is filmed in Cleveland. And there was actually something that was really great that was filmed in Tower City. Mr. Tiermore, tell our guests what that movie was.
Oh, you stumped me. What are you speaking of, sir?
Oh, Winter Soldier, brother.
Oh.
Yeah.
What part of Winter Soldier, sir?
So you remember when... Frank Grillo and them were looking for him for Cap, mm-hmm. and him and Black Widow were on an escalator, and he was like, "Kiss me." That was Tower City. They were running through.
Oh,
that whole film was filmed in Cleveland. All of that, the bridges and things of that nature, like the car chase was right by the stadium. Like, I mean, it was wild. That was Cleveland.
Awesome. You know what? I knew they were on the streets, but I didn't know that scene was in Tower City on the escalator. So that's pretty dope. Actually.
Tower City.
Well, no, yeah. Cleveland is the city where we come from. So that's I ain't gonna sing it because I'm not gonna harmonize like Bone Thugs, but but going back to the show, I mean the show was really nice. They put on a really good production. There was not an empty seat, which was very reassuring as far as like the product of wrestling and getting in for it to be like a family affair. So you have families, you had just groups of guys, you had couples there, you had just the whole gambit of different age ranges, different genders, different age selections, and it was very good to see kids screaming, cheering, booing, turning to their parents asking, do we root for them or do we boo for them? You had there was a guy in front of me who had on a Rey Mysterio mask, but it was like the Browns colors. You had people around me in classic t-shirts or current t-shirts, the signs. Like it was definitely Cleveland is a wrestling town. We've got quite a few guys from
wrestling.
We got quite a few guys in WWE that are from the area, and so we definitely show up when they come here, whether it's Raw or SmackDown or pay-per-views. So it's always awesome that we make sure that we're heard when we're down there. And there were definitely moments where the crowd was into it, and funny thing, there were definitely moments where the crowd was not feeling people on stage or in the ring.
Shout out to Miz and Johnny.
Yeah,
Johnny was at the game and broke the guitar on Sunday. That was awesome. I was glad to see it. The Miz is maybe a little too Hollywood to be breaking guitars out here.
I'm surprised he hasn't done it. I mean, as iconic as he was for the fridge opening thing, I'm surprised he hasn't done a guitar.
Yeah, for sure. No, he probably was offered and thought about Johnny. Because that's just how those guys are, man. It is a brotherhood with that organization, of course, and so having two well-known wrestlers,
right?
You know, superstar WWE superstars from the same city. You know, Miz got a shine on. And so Johnny got a chance to get his shine on. So yeah, that was really exciting.
I think it was very interesting to see.
Oh,
how
Dana
many,
Brooke too. Shout out
right,
Dana
and who what's his face, Ziggler, who doesn't work for them anymore. But yeah, there's a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, it was really, I was interested to see how many CM Punk shirts I would see. I was interested in how many people would actually be cheering for him, because it's different. I quickly realized when you watch it on TV, the production of it, they want you to believe a certain narrative for a character, right? So like how true some of the chants may be, some of it may be crowd noise pumped in. So when we sat down, you started hearing CM Punk chants, and I'm like, okay, let's see what happens when he actually comes out. He came out, and there was an initial pop, but really it was kind of quiet when he was talking, and there was definitely more noise when Seth came out to oppose him. I watched the TV version. They definitely tried to help out CM Punk as far as the TV broadcast of the CM Punk chants. There were no CM Punk chants. The crowd, once Rollins was out there, the crowd was more on Rollins' side than trying to cheer for CM Punk. I think a lot of it is in the moment, whether it's when the person comes out and it's the initial song, you get to chant. But once he was talking, no, it was really, really quiet. And it was surprising because there were tons of people in CM Punk shirts. But when it came down to it, they weren't rocking with that man. When he was put up against the headliner of the show and the champ, people were rocking with the champ. And I think that the broadcast wants you to believe that it's 50-50. It wasn't. Not even close. Not even close.
No, I mean, I think if you look at the promo that he cut in ring, and he was talking about how, he's had all of these moments in Cleveland that hadn't been right for him, right? And, this was his vindication in a sense, and, him coming back home. And so, CM Punk is one of the most polarizing figures in WWE history, right? Let's be real.
He is.
And I think he's also a little bit relatable just because he's not the biggest superstar, right?
Right.
I mean, he's 6 foot
maybe
ish, right? 180 pounds. Maybe. And so, that makes it a little bit more appealing.
Right.
But yeah, no, I mean, he's been away from the business for, well over a decade. So you got some, he got some believing, some making up to do right now, and it's to win over the fan base. Will it be hard for him to do so? No, not necessarily. We'll see what happens in Mania. It's funny that you say that. I haven't been to a Raw or SmackDown or a live show like that in a long time, where there's a lot of promos and in-ring action in that regard. And actually, the last one that I went to was back in 2002, and that was when NWO was there. It was a SmackDown, and shout out to my Aunt Doris for hooking it up. I was behind the announcer table, and so that was at that time. Oh my gosh, this is 2002. I can't remember who was on the announcer's table, but I was there with my NWO sign. I got it on VHS in my dad's house, and the final scene, because they broke through the table, the announcer's table, and the final scene was literally like you could see my sign in the background, as they were cutting out, and it was awesome. But anyway, I totally forgot what it's like there, because like when you're at a live event for say like a Mania, Rumble, SummerSlam, etc., where there's just nothing but matches. Like you definitely hear that crowd going back and forth, between the two, wrestlers, the superstars. And so, it's interesting to hear about the promos though. That's wild. That makes a lot of sense.
I think the other thing that surprised me was, so Jey Uso was definitely a fan favorite, and they were smart with starting the show with him. And the other thing that I think they'll continue to push is the Cody narrative as their All-American, new Hogan Cena type. But the problem is,
how was that?
Oh, I'm gonna get there. So the problem was, and I had a feeling this was gonna happen. So the crowd was really excited when he came out, and I think again it's because they get to chant or they get to sing, and
Right.
you know they get to say "whoa, whoa" when his song hits. But I'm not gonna lie. For that to be the last match of that Raw, there were no Cody chants. There was very few people screaming, "Let's go, Cody." I don't know. And this is why I said I wanted to watch it on TV, because the crowd, and they only show, crowd reactions so high because of the live cam. So
Right.
you can see people behind them while he's wrestling, and the majority of people in the stands were not really reacting positively or negatively for this dude. And that shocked me that people don't really care. Like, they cared when it was him and Roman, and they maybe cared when it was him and Brock, but I don't think they've cared since then. And the TV, the TV narrative of him is, he's the face. Other than Roman, he's the other face of the franchise. And I don't think it really is that the case with us, the actual fans.
Magic Johnson head shake. Mm-mm.
Well, it's
I don't believe it.
Right.
Yeah.
I needed to see it, and I don't. There were definitely more shirts and more supporters of other people that day than Cody. There were not that many American Nightmare shirts. There were not that many Cody signs. They give you the ones that you can see, when he's coming down and he gives his weight belt away, and he's doing the Cody thing as he comes out. But overall, in the crowd, it was not a Cody crowd. There were people even next to me and behind me that were rooting for Shinsuke in that match. Like, it's wild. I won't say all people, but most of the people are kind of over this dude. It's wild. And yet we're still going to get probably Cody Roman. And I don't think people give a damn.
I don't care about Cody and Roman. Want to see Roman, right? Roman is the big ticket, right? But man, there was a reason why there was a big push to have him and Brock go at it, right? So Brock could essentially put over Roman.
Cody over Cody, yeah.
And right. And that was also the reason why there were so many Brock and Roman fights as well, too, to put over Roman. You already know, and I don't have to say this for our studio audience here, but I wish we had a studio audience. Well, that should be fun. Just side note, that would be awesome. It's like, chickens, we don't want to hear any more of you. That's what they'll probably say, but they're probably right. But yeah, reality is Brock is the big ticket, right? And Roman is the big ticket, and there aren't many guys who can carry. Well, and Seth as well too. I mean, Seth has definitely earned the right to be a big ticket guy. It's only a handful of them. Randy, right? I mean,
and
let's see who else.
Anyone else is part timers. So Cena,
right, for sure, right, absolutely. So yeah, I figured it would have been. He hasn't sold me over, and I'm highly critical of WWE in that regard. I don't care.
Like, they're forcing
because you had an opportunity.
They're forcing it,
right? You had an opportunity to do that, right? You had an opportunity to put him over, at Mania, and you fumbled that. And now we got to go through this whole thing again that we've seen time and time again. We saw it with John Cena before, but the difference between John Cena and Cody Rhodes, John Cena could beat anyone, and he has proven to do that.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes don't seem like a believable superstar to me. That's it. We know what his track record is. We haven't seen John Cena get pommeled, or was gimmicky in the sense that it never, carried away with the crowd. I mean, you think about like in his basic Thuganomics era, right? John Cena was the man then,
sure,
right?
Sure.
And then when he went into the hustle, loyalty, respect, he was the man then. And so he has never had a moment where it was like downhill or, it was mid. because that's the word that all the like kids like to say, mid. Yeah, Cody is mid for sure. And they're trying to propel him to this point because he was from AEW. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not a fan. I haven't been a fan. I mean, the theme song, some Cody Rhodes. I don't, that's, and then everybody say, whoa, don't nobody like that song, man. I tell you what song they like, burn it down. Yeah. Oh. Side note, I was on a call with Javon Cooper and Christopher Duncan, and just randomly we was talking about like Mania. I mean, not Mania, but Raw, and then just me and Chris at the same time was thinking about about the Seth Rollins theme, and said, "Whoa, whoa," just hella random, right? That's awesome.
That's how you. Right? That's how you know somebody is over. That y'all could be talking
100%.
Y'all could be having a conversation that had nothing to do with wrestling, and you all of a sudden just start thinking about something.
Duncan don't even like wrestling. Right. That's the part. That's like right. Like I would like just like
when a guy can catch the casual, that's when you know it's hidden.
Easy. Yeah, man. It's
but I mean, overall, like it was fun. I lost my voice. I was cheering my ass off. We had a lot of fun. It's fun to go to. It's fun to see in person. But the problem is because the things are still split and you don't get to see everybody. There were quite a few moments where it was silent and people weren't into who was wrestling, and it was just like a roller coaster. It was like, all right, the show started hot and then it kind of went down, and then it jumped up when Punk and Seth came out, and then it went down. And then R-Truth and the Judgment Day came out, and everyone cheered R-Truth because everyone loves R-Truth. And
everyone loves R-Truth. And R-Truth, I told you, me and R-Truth, we are not the same people.
Right. And
I have photos, documents.
Very close. It's very close. But yeah, there's just so many moments where people want to cheer for one person and they're coming to see one person. So everyone cheered Rhea Ripley, but nobody cheered when the Judgment Day came out. And everyone cheered when R-Truth came out, and then they booed when the Judgment Day beat him up. And then it was silent. And then I was telling the guys, I think it hurt Cody that he came out after Gargano and The Miz in their 3-on-3 tag match. Like, you give us the Cleveland people and we got hype.
Oh, that's bad.
And then Cody comes out and it was kind of like, that's not good.
No one cares.
That's not good. That was the main event. I was like, we're about to get 30 minutes of Shinsuke, Cody, and nobody cares. And they didn't.
Shinsuke has an instrumental.
Bro, and we cheered more and we were singing along for Shinsuke's song more than Cody's song. And
easily
there were more people who reacted because it ended with Shinsuke, which is funny that Shinsuke's Mrs. Red and Asuka's Mrs. Green. Shout out to the great Muda. It was funny that he ended
and all the great Japanese wrestlers.
It ended with Mist, right? And then it's Cody, he can't see, and DQ, and the match is over. They get Shinsuke out the ring. Shinsuke leaves, and then Shinsuke runs back in a full sprint and kicks this dude straight in the face when they were like carrying him out. I was like, people got more of a rise out of Cody getting his butt whooped than any part of when he came out. And it's very telling. And the other thing that was weird, lastly, was they gave this dude a microphone at the end of the show, and when it went off air, and he's laying there, he's hanging off the edge of the ring, and he gets handed a microphone, and he goes, "Well, that didn't end how I wanted it to end, but did you guys have fun? And
oh my god,
did you enjoy the show?" So like he still was like closing the show even though he lost. I was like, what are we doing? What is going on? Like they still
that's bad.
I just they want you to like cheer for this man and root for him even though he loses, and they want you to believe in him and that he's overcoming adversity. I get it. So we're storytelling. I get it, but I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds like a conundrum
because he's going to win the Rumble. I've already said this, and I'm just going to repeat it. By Punk signing to Raw, Punk doesn't have to win the Rumble to fight Seth because they're already on the same show. The only way for Cody to fight Roman now is for Cody to either win the Rumble or there's some sort of stipulation where he wins the next one, which is Elimination Chamber. That's just what it is.
Yeah,
it's
You're right.
Very clear.
Hey, man, we shall see. Rumble is next month.
Yep,
looking forward to it. Where is it at this year? Is that in Tampa?
So Rumble's in Tampa, and then Elimination Chamber is in Perth, Australia.
Oh, that sounds like a ton of fun. Well, speaking of someone who should be in the WWE, and maybe he's just been auditioning for his next career move, Draymond Green.
I like that segue.
Was just recently suspended.
I like what you did there.
Hey, I practice at this a little bit.
Okay.
So, I don't know. We've been doing this for a little bit of time.
We have.
Yeah. Yeah. Draymond got suspended indefinitely, and this is we've had many segments about Draymond. We talked about this at length, and
we just got done We just got done talking about this dude doing a sleeper hold on Rudy.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And so early in the third quarter on Monday, it was Tuesday. On Tuesday against the Suns.
Yep.
Which no KD, and so that was a very winnable game for Golden State, who have been in a slump as of late, especially on the road. And early, that's like 10 minutes left in the third quarter, he decides that him and Nurkic, Joseph Nurkic from formerly the Portland Trail Blazers and now plays for the Suns, they were jostling for position. Mm-hmm. He was behind Draymond. Mm-hmm. And he kind of grabbed maybe Draymond by his shorts. I mean, just normal NBA shit. Let's be real, right? This is nothing. This is still a contact sport. Draymond does this move that looks like he had the shot put.
I'm gonna call it a spinning back fist.
Yes, the spinning lariat, right? He had it, and he literally spun around and caught Nurk with a forearm and hand across his head. He falls down. It was so egregious that his teammates that were sitting on the bench in front of him
were like this,
threw out their hands like, what are you doing? And I just, for the life of me, can't figure it out. And he, how to do anything, blah, blah, blah. You had a guy, there's a camera footage of one of the sideline guys for the Suns, maybe a ball boy towel guy. Mouth drop. It was bad. And so Draymond was suspended indefinitely yesterday. Who knows what's going to happen? So I just want to give a quick, recap of just this past year.
Yeah, talk about
it. Last July, right? So you had the incident with teammate Jordan Poole, which he knocked out, right? And then, that video footage got leaked to TMZ, which who knows, someone from the organization leaked that footage because that was in-house, and in-house things don't get out unless someone was unhappy or wanted Draymond gone. And so he gets suspended by the team for personal reasons, and he needed to go find himself, right? And then you go into last season where, he had a 16 technical, which was a game suspension, and then he gets suspended in the pivotal playoff series that went 7 games against the Sacramento Kings for stumping a hole in Domantas Sabonis, right? And then this season,
just this season
alone. Wait a minute, they haven't even played 20 games yet.
They haven't.
I think it's 18, right? He gets suspended for 5 games for choking out Rudy Gobert for no reason.
That's correct,
right? And then this incident. I mean, he has no place in basketball, man. Let's just be real.
You're actually leaving one out because he was actually ejected against the Cavs for shoving Donovan.
Donovan. Yeah. Not even talking about that aspect, right? Yeah. Oh, for sure. he hurts his team in a way when you have all of these young guys on the team and you're searching for answers because, you know, you're trying to inspire your Wiggins and your championship vets, right? Your Klay Thompsons. You are the emotional leader of this team. And then you go out and you remove yourself from that position because you can't control yourself, right? That's a problem. And it has no place in basketball for it. I'm not talking about it as soft, whatever. I don't care about that. You're trying to cause bodily harm to a player. And that's what I speak on the fact of you have no place in basketball for that. This isn't the Pistons, you know, the James Edwards, you know, the Mark Aguirres, the, you know, Dennis Rodmans, the Joe Dumars, the Isaiah Thomases, you know,
right.
Where, you know, it was a violent sport back then and they didn't call anything. This isn't your Kurt Rambis, right? You know, getting punched in the face time. This is different basketball. Basketball is global. You are inspiring millions and millions. I mean, shit, what we got? 8 billion people in the world now? We could say billions. Come on, man. You got to be smart. You don't play. You're not a type of player where your game is going to translate in other teams, right? You're not going to just mysteriously go score 20 plus points a game and average 10 plus rebounds. Like, you're not at that point in your career anymore. So you do things in other ways, man. It's not good. So, yeah, that's all I got on that.
I don't have really much else to add. I mean, he tried to justify it by saying he's not a flopper, that he sells calls with his hands, but his actions were completely uncalled for. It was unwarranted. As we talked about, it was unprovoked. You know, just because he was tugging on your hips or whatever, like, it was not anything egregious for what Nurkic was doing to result in what he did. And he's at the point where he just cannot control his immediate reactions, and it's a problem, and it's a detriment to the team now. So he's got to go. And you already talked about it. He's not going to be on that team very much longer, regardless of you know, whatever they said on social or the statements of, you know, they're going to monitor his progress and this program that they're going to set up for him to come back.
It's a crock of shit. That's what I'll say.
Which I don't believe that program any more than I believe the program that they set up for Ja Morant. So with that being said, he's going to be who he is. He is who he is, right? You are what you show to be on tape. There's enough circumstances now where I believe what I see and not what he's saying. Period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. You know, it was funny that he said in his presser after the game, he says that, you know, I don't apologize for my actions. You know me, I don't apologize for my actions, but I do apologize to Joseph. You know, it was unintentional. And I have a hard time believing that, of course, right? Because of what you did. You know exactly what you're doing. You're one of the most cerebral basketball players in league history, right? You know exactly what you're doing. And for that to come about, that's problematic. I would say this is problematic. Steve Kerr enables him.
Yeah. Oh, right? Yeah.
Steve Kerr immediately after the game says, and one of the reporters asked him, Steve, did you get a chance to see what happened? Did you see? No, I didn't see replays, so I don't have any comment on that.
I mean,
come on, man.
Listen, come on. There's a point where you can't continue to defend this. I know you're supposed to defend your players. I know you got to stick with your players, but man, this is not defensible at all. It's just not.
Not at all. You know, your best ability is your availability. And Draymond, time and time again, has shown that he is, because of his actions, he has been unavailable for his team in pivotal moments.
For sure.
You know, you can reference Game 5 in the 2016 NBA Finals because he couldn't control his actions and he decided to, you know, give Bron a low blow, right? And it's like, well, he won't score 41 against me, you know, blah, 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 you know, if I'm playing. And then they did, but, you know, whatever. That's just besides the point. Shout out to that 2016 team. And, yeah, anyway. Yeah, I'm over it. I'm over it. It's too much, you know, and it makes watching the Warriors in a team that I love to watch, love to hate. even though I got this nice.
But it doesn't last forever. No, that's a nice shirt.
Go to state.
That's a nice shirt. But
it's awesome, man. This is one of these little courtside, sweatshirts, shirts, things, whatever, with the nice hood, a stand, it's drop fit. Rock was like, I could cover up the patch for you. I said, that's okay. That's like, I do live in the Bay. It's all right.
Dynasties don't last forever, man. It's just it's time. They may have to get rid of freaking Clay because he wasn't allegedly he wasn't even out there for the end of that game. Like, it's just
man.
time.
Let me tell you, I watched that game because I do watch them.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, man, if you love basketball, you love watching them play because they move in such a way. It is poetic. It is one of the most gorgeous things you can see watching the basketball team. And it reminds me of like back in the day in the 80s when you had Showtime, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how the ball moved and just and how in the 90s how the triangle was executed, right? Like just beautiful basketball.
Yeah.
And so I watched that game, and there were points. Of course, they went on an 18-2 run, against KD-less, Phoenix Suns. And went up 8 and went on an 18-2 run at the end of the quarter and at halftime with only Steph Curry on the court. And the rest of them were, role players on the bench. And they brought the energy because Clay has been inconsistent. Draymond is Draymond, right? And that was before the incident. And then, Wiggins hasn't produced and Looney hasn't produced either. So, yeah, it's pretty bad. They may have to blow that team up, though. I am hearing reports that there was an offer for Clay. It was a 2-year, $48 million deal that was on the table before the season started that he did not accept. And now that table that offer has disappeared. So, more to come with that. But yeah. And then they added Chris Paul too, which I thought that was the wildest thing, and it doesn't fit. So anyway, moving on. NFL playoffs are fastly approaching, which is insane. And we've seen the wildest things going on right now in the league. I can't remember a time where I've seen so many injuries, especially to like skill position players, quarterbacks. I mean, now we've been on our fourth quarterback, right? Which in Joe we trust. However, you have Minnesota is now on their fourth quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Herbert is out for the season now, so Easton Stick is now the starting QB.
Yep. Jets have had three.
Right.
Jets have had three quarterbacks.
Jets have had three quarterbacks. I mean, they played Tim Boyle, and then Zach Wilson was like, "All right, well, I can go back in there," and he looked great. Well, that was a great looking game. I mean, the Texans are a competitive team, and they're thick in the playoff race. Yeah, man. AFC is wild. The Niners clinched on Monday with Green Bay losing, so that was exciting. So good to see them in the playoffs and for a deep playoff run, I hope. Yeah, Miami lost.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Patrick Mahomes. Oh man, I drafted Pat.
You did
early
fantasy, yeah,
and Pat has not looked like Pat. And I would just want to put this out there because no one is talking about it, but I'm gonna say it right here. Kansas City is missing Eric Bieniemy. They really are. There's so much credit that it is for Andy Reid and the scheming and things of that nature, and the offensive guru and genius that he is. Eric Bieniemy in his own right was the guy that the engine clicked. I think, there was conversations about, Kansas City's missing Tyreek Hill. They're not missing Reek. You got a QB who is elite. They won a Super Bowl last year without Reek.
Sure. And I think that was the issue, right? They thought the method could work because they did it without Tyreek, but they technically did it with Bieniemy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It was Eric Bieniemy. And so we shall see what happens, man. But hey, I'm not mad at it because them losing. So right now, what it looks like current seeding, Baltimore is the number 1 seed. They won last week on a walk-off punt return, which was wild.
It was four blocks in the back, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever. It's fine. We already know they were at home, so they get those calls. But anyway,
but they've got at Jacksonville, at Niners, Dolphins, Steelers. That's their last 4. Ooh, that's tough.
it's very conceivable that they can lose 2 games.
Ooh, that's tough.
And it's very conceivable that we can win 2. I mean, we can win out our last 4. And, Nick Wright brought it up. Mr. Nick Wright from Fox Sports brought it up that it's very conceivable that it could be Kansas City that if they win out, right, they take the number 1 seed. Well, what's more likely? The Cleveland Browns in the last 4 games, winning their last 4 games that are definitely winnable games, or Kansas City winning their 4 games, the Dolphins losing 1, and the Ravens losing 2.
So I'm not going to lie. I'm looking at Kansas City's. It's New England, Raiders, Bengals, Chargers. So, Kansas City.
Those are tough games.
Kansas City,
right?
Those are tough games, but those are games that are winnable for them if they were normal.
Correct.
Like if it was the normal Kansas City Chiefs, sure. Right. But
I'm waiting for the real Kansas City Chiefs to stand up.
Those are interesting games. The other team you mentioned, Miami. Miami's last 4 is Jets, tough defense. Dallas is rolling. Baltimore at Baltimore, and they end the season against Buffalo. So
right. Tough games.
Dolphins don't have it easy. No. Ravens don't have it easy. The other team, we already beat them, but they're still the 4th seed. So Jacksonville is Baltimore, Tampa, Carolina, Tennessee. So theirs is just as easy as ours. So you could conceivably see how, those first 3 seeds could struggle. I mean, honestly, if nothing changes, being the 4 or the 5 seed is ideal because we can beat Jacksonville. Pittsburgh's underneath us. We can beat Pittsburgh. Indy's underneath them. We can beat Indy. We'll see when we play Houston. A lot of things were weird circumstances when we played Denver, but I think that game was winnable. Cincinnati's rolling, but that game is winnable. Like all the teams that are 7-6 that could move up into the 5 seed, we can absolutely destroy.
Absolutely.
And that's funny that I'm being that confident, and I'm only that confident because of Joe effing Flacco.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. We needed a vet.
By the way,
Joe's a great day to have in Cleveland.
He's officially on the roster. He's no longer practicing.
Nice. They finally paid Joe. Great job. Barstool Sports had a video up, and it was an excerpt saying that Baltimore's worst nightmare in situation would be facing the Browns in the playoffs with Joe Flacco as the quarterback. Because Trent Dilfer was there, the quarterback, right? And Trent's currently coaching. Where's Trent at now? Trent is coaching for.
Trent coaches. He was coaching
a college team, right?
He was coaching high school. I think he's UAB's coach.
Yeah, that's what it is. I couldn't think of the school. Yes, Alabama Birmingham. He's the head coach down there. Yeah, he's not walking through that door anytime. We got Joe Flacco, who's lost his job to Mr. MVP Lamar Jackson, right? But he also has won the Ravens the Super Bowl. So, yeah, that is the worst nightmare for them. I am super confident.
It's crazy that I'm saying that, but I feel the same.
Yeah, there we go. Well, my Super Bowl prediction still holds true. I want to see this. If any year is the year to do it, it will be this one. Even through all the injuries that we've gone through.
9 starters. 13 total, 9 starters.
Yeah. We've dealt with adversity right off of week 2, right? Week 3, we had our starting quarterback go down, come back, go down again, out for the season. We are now on our 4th quarterback. And we beat, the NFC favorites and Super Bowl favorites at this point with our 3rd string quarterback and a tight defense, right? Yeah, it's interesting, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens and what shakes in the playoffs. But I mean, can you imagine what the city would be if we just were able to host a game in Cleveland for the playoffs, man? I'm telling you, that would be.
It's been talked about.
Madness.
It's been talked about a lot. The fact that we were in the playoffs during COVID and we were all at home. If we do have a playoff game here, let alone getting in the playoffs and being able to actually travel to go. Because I'm not going to lie. If we play the playoff game against Jacksonville, I might drive down there. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's
if it was here, oh man,
I'm telling you, man, it would be insane, right?
We would be partying and tailgating Friday for the Sunday game.
For sure, yeah, absolutely. I want to talk about Kansas City real quick, just be getting back to them. There was a controversial play that happened at the end of the game where it was a beautiful play. I mean, Cleveland's own Travis Kelce, right? Shout out to the New Heights boys.
Yep.
It was third down, and there was a lateral that happened. It was your boy Kadarius Toney, who has been under much scrutiny for beginning of the season for drops and just making bonehead decisions while playing. I mean, it's football. We make mistakes all the time, right? However, there's a very important thing that happens when you line up at the line of scrimmage as a receiver or any kind of skilled players on the offensive side. You look at the line judge. First of all, you look at the ball and you also look at the line judge. And the line judge's job is to look to see who's in that neutral zone area. And Kadarius Toney did not look to his left. He pointed at the line judge, and he still had his eyes to the right looking at the ball. And he lined up. He was covering the ball. And he subsequently caught a touchdown pass once Travis Kelce caught the pass and then laterally with a perfect spiral backwards while still running. I don't know how you do this with such accuracy unless you were a quarterback, as he was at Cleveland Heights High School and also University of Cincinnati for his first 2 years. But besides the point, I don't even think professional quarterbacks can do that. Running full speed after catching the ball, running full speed with an additional 40 pounds on him, because Travis Kelce weighs about 40 more pounds than most of the quarterbacks in the league. On the run, throwing a perfect spiral backwards. It was a beautiful play. It should have been one of those immaculate reception type plays, and it was called back for offensive offsides. You've never seen that called before. Yeah. And yes, it is the line judge's job to say, hey, back up, right?
But he's also a professional, so he should know better.
But he should know, right? This is something that you learn in Pee Wee football, looking at the line judge and making sure that you are set and behind the line of scrimmage. That's what you do.
Yeah.
You're on the line, but behind the line of scrimmage, because there's this wiggle room where, folks, if you don't know, if you are a receiver or a skill position, you can't cover, you can't have too many people on the line of scrimmage. And then you also can't have too many people in the backfield as well, too, because they will call that illegal formation. And that is called quite often, but not offensive offsides. I've never seen that happen before.
I just watched the play in real time. That was pretty amazing.
It's amazing. I'm telling you, like, that should be on a highlight.
That was
real. Like, it should have been
a great play for him to have the wherewithal to throw it like that backwards. While, like you said, after he just caught it, to see him over there to his left, way back there, to be able to, 1, see him, 2, say, maybe I can make that throw, 3, I'm gonna make that throw, and then connect. Like, 2,
with a perfect spiral. If the ball wasn't wobbling,
no,
it was cold as hell in Kansas City, right? You know, I mean, that's just a highlight reel play, man. That should have been top play of the year, for this NFL season. But it was marred by an offensive offsides call. And again, Patrick Mahomes said it, he's like, it didn't affect the play of the game, things of that nature, I get all of that. And it is the line judge's job to be able to yell at the player to get back.
Right.
However, it is when you look at the play again and you look at Kadarius Toney, not look at the line judge, because that's what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's on him, man. Making mistakes. Can't allow that to happen. It is playoffs now for fantasy football.
Yes, it is.
I'm the 2 seed. I played the 7th. I just got whooped on by the 7th seed this past week.
Mm-hmm.
And he has all the Niners, and that was a hell of a game that they played. And I beat him earlier this season. So this is a rubber match for me and him. And I missed out on the 1 seed. I blew that, but it's okay. I need maybe that bye week. But hey, man, in fantasy football, there's no telling. I was top scorer of the league this year, and so I just got to be top scorer, and that's it. And I don't have to worry about anything else. But I also had the second most points scored against me this season. So how are you looking right now in fantasy?
Made it into the playoffs both 5 seed, 6 seed. So I made it in for both.
Okay.
I feel pretty good about both matchups.
Okay.
In one league, I did pick up Joe Flacco because Herbert's out for the year. So I'm going to play Joe. It's a favorable matchup in Chicago, right? Like it's a home game.
Yeah,
it's a home game.
Chicago's tough, but that should be a great matchup for us.
Yeah, but I feel really good about both of my matchups. I'm not am I favored in either of them? I don't, but considering who I have and what they're capable of, if the guys on my team play up to their standards of their output, then I don't know why somebody's car is going off, but I'm going to feel like I can win both of my matchups. I mean, Joe is finding I just picked up Njoku, so I have Njoku on both teams. I feel really good about that Flacco Njoku connection. I think
Joe loves the tight ends. It may not think about like Todd Heap back in the day.
It may not be 2 touchdowns, but I feel like Njoku can be utilized and found as an outlet guy, right? And he just needs.
I drafted David Njoku too, and he started off so slow. I mean, it was that the offense was slow. I mean, let's be real. Like it was not. We were not in good position earlier this year.
But no, I feel
that's what happened.
It does. I mean, you take the chances when you draft guys, and sometimes you're like, well, I can afford to get rid of this person because they're not producing, right? Like there are just points where you can't wait on a guy because it's going to cost you wins. And when it's 14 games before the playoffs, you got to make those wins count wherever. Like you just can't, because if you say, oh well, they started out slow. Like you give it like 3-4 games, and then it's like, all right, I got to make some cuts or trades because you were making trades and things of that nature. So you just can't sit on it. I mean, I looked at my roster of who I drafted and then who I ended up with, and sometimes you just got to make those kinds of moves, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So it should be fun. Congrats to all who have made the playoffs, and best of luck to you in the playoffs. I hope you win. I hope you got some good prize money
this week.
And I hope you did
first of the Saturday games, by the way.
And I hope you didn't finish in 12th place out there, because if you did, you may be sitting in a Waffle House for 24 hours, and that is wild. So moving on, college football playoffs. So you got number 1 Michigan. I can't believe I'm saying that. Boo. Sorry asses. Anyway, I didn't want to scream any biases while I was on this broadcast, but here we are talking about them sorry bastards. So, the college football playoff committee did us a favor and decided to put number 4 Alabama against them. And so they got a tough test. This is not the TCU, right? And, last year they tried to do us a favor and setting us up to have, potentially the Blue Bloods and the Ohio State, Michigan play in the national championship game. Yeah. Which would have been fun, right? But no, this year Michigan is 1, Alabama's 4. You have Texas and Washington, and they're playing in the Sugar Bowl, and Michigan, Alabama will be here at the Rose Bowl for the Rose Bowl. So, it should be interesting to see what happens, man. Just quick predictions: who you got in the championship, and who you got winning it?
I'm gonna say, you know what? I think for the sake of parity, and it's tough though, because I haven't seen too many of these teams play. I've seen Texas and Washington play, and I think either one of those teams can beat Michigan. I think if Alabama wins, which they should, Alabama versus Texas would be great.
That's why I think what they did for that matchup for sure. I think that there's that is a huge rivalry, and they are also both in the SEC, and so and also Texas beat Alabama this year in Tuscaloosa by double digits, and so it will be the true redemption story for Nick Saban and his team to be able to win a national championship by avenging his early season loss. And on the biggest stage.
But I think Washington still has a chance to show that you can be from the Pac-12 or what was left of it and be a contender without having to be in the SEC. And it's just one of those years where, everyone, I think more people were confident in Oregon than they were in Washington to start the year, if I'm correct, right? So
yeah, for sure.
They went out and beat Oregon twice and, beat the brakes off of USC when everyone was still on Caleb. So I think Washington has already overcome a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. So we talked about it, right? So obviously Bama and Texas with this storied, two storied universities and college football programs, right? Meeting in the national championship, is what, brings tears to the eyes of SEC folks, right?
Right.
Sweet tears of joy. You have the potential matchup of, seeing Michigan and Texas play each other, which will be a rematch of the 2004 Rose Bowl.
Sounds right. Sounds right.
Yeah, right. That was the year before Texas won the national championship game. That's when Vince Young went crazy the first time, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, Vince Young is crazy," and amazing. So that's a possibility. And then you have Washington and Michigan, because Washington's coming over to the Big Ten, this year, this upcoming season. So some really cool storylines. We don't really have any storylines as far as for Bama and Washington. Because Sark is down at Bama. Excuse me, was at Bama. He was at Washington. He is now with Texas. Mm-hmm. So, and that's a storyline right now in this moment, is that he's playing his former team. So, yeah, we'll see. I'm looking forward to it, man. It makes for
watch. I'm not sure. Like, there's not a definite favorite. Like, any of the four can win. Yeah,
for sure. Well, sad to say, man. And until we shake some things up, and whether that's Ryan Day leaving and pursuing other opportunities, and you getting a coach that can really inspire the team. No disrespect to Ryan Day, but regular season games don't cut it. When you can't win the big ones, you go 1-7 against, highly ranked teams, including going 1-2 against your rival. It's not going to cut it. And so, anyway, I'll be bitter about this because I really thought that it would have been a great opportunity. Hey, us being in a Rose Bowl, I would have been down in Pasadena this year. So I'm a little pissy about that.
Sure.
But whatever. Anyway, moving on to NBA. So you obviously had the in-season tournament.
Yes.
Lakers won. There's a lot to say. Charles Barkley said, they were spraying champagne, and if they put up that banner, I'm gonna clown their asses on live TV. And it's like, Chuck, it's true. I think the funny part is no one talks about the the playoffs when the team wins a wild card, right? And they celebrate, or they win the division, or they get into a playoff berth. And, and after every series, they spray champagne. I know it's November, December. I get it.
Yeah.
But why are we hating on teams, man, for celebrating?
But I don't.
An accomplishment.
But I don't, because for me, this is, I think, what they were doing was trying to get more intrigue to the league, trying to get more eyes, trying to get teams to care more about regular season games.
Absolutely.
Right. I don't,
and it worked.
And I don't think it's a problem because, as you know, like, I'm a big fan of European soccer, and I watch English Premier League, and that league alone has 2 other tournaments outside of their league championship. So, like, I completely understand what a mid-season tournament can do for a team, because you can have your traditional teams at the top of the standings, but you can have a team like Indiana who can get to this game and say, we were the in-season champs. Like, something that they worked towards, something that they achieved, something that they can build upon. And I don't mind any team who would have won this celebrating. Not at all. Like, y'all accomplished something. You won something. It counts. It means something. It's not a certificate. It's not a participation trophy. It's a real trophy. There were real stakes. There were real things to accomplish by them winning.
And every team had a vet, and they had rookies who they were playing for, right? Like, legit. All 30 teams were in this tournament together playing, right? And it was fun because it reminded me of what happens in late March, early April, right? The NCAA tournament, right? One and done. You play your best, you move on, right? And so it was fun. You speak about Indiana, who was in the championship game. Indiana, that was the opportunity for people to see players like Tyrese Halliburton, right, and Benny Matterhorn, right, guys who are, emerging stars in this league, and this is their second national television appearance, and they won't see another one until the playoffs.
Actually, they did,
which is insane.
They did pick up the Pacers for a couple more games, actually. Oh,
see what happens after that, right? Like, they're an exciting team to watch, man. Like, yeah. Come on now. Like, we talk about legacy builders and things of that nature, man. It's like, this is another thing for LeBron's legacy, man. He was playing for the rookies, man. Those two-way players who, see a couple 100,000 and that just doubled their salary, right? DeMoy Hodge and a couple of those guys, Frank Castleton, players who, don't see much court time, what they're going to do with that money, go help their families, because now you're a millionaire, because $500,000 is $500,000. I mean, that's a lot of money. And so, yeah, man, I thought it was great, man. It was compelling basketball,
and honestly, there's just
in November, December.
They're talking, Chuck's talking mess, but the honest truth is, as much as I talked about before with the lesser known teams getting exposure, at the same time, it's a win-win because an established brand helped promote this tournament, and generational talent stood out in the championship game, and your guy who's the oldest player in the league was showing out and showing off in those last two games. Like, if it was Giannis, we'd be talking about it. If it was if it was KD, we'd be talking about how KD actually carried the team. Like other stars who would have got to this point, I feel like we would have definitely praised them more, and Chuck wouldn't have been talking all of this mess. But because it was LeBron and the Lakers, he felt like he needed to be on his negativity and try to bring it down when there was nothing but good to come from all of that happened.
You hit it right on the head. That's it. There's nothing more that can be added to that. I mean, you are 100% right. Hey, man, you know what?
Because if it was Luka, we'd be like, oh, man, Luka showed out. Luka's coming. If it was, if Ja was playing, we'd be like, Ja's arrived. If it was Tatum, we'd be like, this is another step for Tatum, for him to win this tournament on his way to a title. Like, everything about this in-season tournament would have benefited every star that we have.
And that would have also propelled these, those players into MVP conversation, right? And those teams who won it into, title contenders, right? But because it's LeBron and the Lakers, you don't get that. It's you figure out any other way to kind of move the goalpost, and it's unfortunate. But yeah, man. Speaking of NBA, Giannis had an amazing game yesterday, scoring 64 points, but there was some controversy and some things that happened after the game. They played the Pacers, and that was a hell of a game. But Giannis, yes, he went to the line. I think it was 32 times yesterday, or had 32 free throw attempts, which was wild. There was the game ball situation, and so what happened? The Pacers had a rookie, Oscar Schwebe. He's scored his first points in the NBA, right? He does a guy that doesn't get much playing time. An NBA thing, what happens? When you score your first points, you usually get the game ball.
Or if it's right in any sport, usually if it's your first touchdown or whatever,
you get the game ball. And it also coincided with a game that Giannis scored 64 points. And so after the game, and they were in the Fiserv, arena in Milwaukee. After the game, Giannis went looking for the ball, and he ran off, and he went through the tunnel, and then he charged across the court and went towards the Pacers locker room and ran down the hallway and went there and confronted them about the ball. And then the Bucks players came.
Oh boy!
And then there was a fracas, as Pacers coach Rick Carlisle said.
Hold me back.
Right. No. He said punches were thrown, but none landed. But my one of my assistant coaches called an elbow to the rib, so I think he has a bruised rib now.
Poor guy.
All over the game ball. Which again, probably about a half hour earlier in the game, Giannis got thrown down to the ground on a hard foul, And, you know, they was holding back the Nassus on the sideline. You know, it's like, oh, hold me back. I gotta go get my brother. It's like, you're not doing that. Stop that. But yeah, man, it was a lot of charged energy out there for a December game, right? And it had to do over the game ball. So yeah, you had RJ talking about it. This is a first take topic. It's kind of wild actually, but yeah, it usually goes to the rookie. Giannis has plenty of game balls, right? It is a franchise record for the Bucks, which is crazy because the great Bucks, you know, who had, you know, Lou Alcindor, aka Mr. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
yep,
and the great Oscar Robertson,
yep,
and all of those great players, right? Ray Allen, you had Michael Redd, and, you know, Vin Baker, and I mean, the list, Glenn Robinson, the list goes on of how many greats you had in the Milwaukee uniform.
64?
64. Oh. Franchise record. Insane, dude. Yeah. But Giannis, you don't get the game ball in that one. It goes to the rookie, man. Let the rookie have his game ball.
He knows better than to act like that. That's pretty
even
reckless of him to be acting like that, to be sprinting over for a ball, and for someone who seems to be very selfless and is pretty much a stand-up guy as far as his image and things of that nature. I didn't expect you to go there with the story. Like, I didn't.
Oh yeah,
you're telling me this in real time. So I guess my immediate reaction is, you know, big man, you gotta let the kid have the ball. Like, your accomplishment the stat of what he scored is going to live forever. And I get that maybe you want the game ball to commemorate that, but you just got to let that one go, I guess. I don't know.
Absolutely. You know, when you're telling your kid, hey, you know, I scored my first points in the NBA. It was against the Bucks. It was a game that Giannis scored 64
points. But Giannis beat me up, took the game ball.
Yes, exactly, right? Crazy. You know, we talked about it last week. Where's SHO-HEI going? And, you know, the odds-on favorites to win SHO-HEI with the sweepstakes was the LA Dodgers. He didn't go anywhere. He stayed in LA. Historic deal, truly historic. 10 years, $700 million. Mm-hmm. Insane amount of money. But here's where it gets interesting.
Oh, because of what he did after.
SHO-HEI decided to not tie up the books for the Dodgers. Nope. To have, you know, contracts of, you know, other great players who already have Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts, who are all MVPs, right?
No, he did the smart thing. He went on a deferment plan.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, he did.
Talk about
he did the Bobby Bonilla, right? In fact, retired Chris Davis, right? Long time, you know, A's player and journeyman. And Ken Griffey Jr. make more money than SHO-HEI Ohtani this year. SHO-HEI decided to defer $68 million every year of his contract. So after his contract is done, then he has under contract for the next 10 years, receiving $68 million each year following that. So insane. There's something that I heard yesterday and it was reported. And it made me sad because it's just the state of San Francisco right now. So San Francisco was very much in play for SHO-HEI. In fact, they offered the same deal to SHO-HEI.
Okay.
SHO-HEI decided to stay in LA because of the fact of crime and all of the things that are going on as far as for Asian hate that is conducting in San Francisco.
Shit.
So he decided to stay in LA. And so we missed out on a generational player because
society
San Francisco can't get their shit together.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So it was very unfortunate, man. And I'm sad that story broke. It was one of those things like he could have had him, right? But I'm even more sad in the state of San Francisco right now. Just a side note, we are, the city is a beautiful place. It's dirty in San Francisco, but that's
I was gonna say I still miss being there. Like, it was so much fun.
Yeah, for sure. But they've had 17 big businesses pull out of San Francisco, including a flagship store, Nordstrom, and across the street from it, adjacent, was a Nordstrom rack, due to theft, crime, and everything else. And, it's very unfortunate. And so, the state of shopping right now and just that area, and I experienced it in my store.
Sure.
It's bad. And so I'm hopeful that, lawmakers, and they're trying their best to, I suppose, right? It's not going to take effect for a few more years, but some things got to change. And I hate to see the way the states of, the metropolitan areas are being affected by just shit. And but that story got me, man. I was like, this is wild.
I mean, but you gotta, when you're making those kinds of decisions, you gotta take in account like all of it. Like, how's the living situation? How's the, the quality of life? You gotta, all of that kind of matters. So I guess when you take all of that and you add it up and you say, all right, well, what's going to be the best? Like you said, he didn't have to necessarily leave, but it's like, as far as staying in the state and going north versus staying there where it was already at,
in a huge market, right? What's like the Bay Area.
So I mean,
right.
In the end, while the amount of people of his ethnicity that do live in San Francisco, the violent nature of what's happening in society, I guess, can definitely sway you into saying, I don't want to bring potentially my family here for that. I don't want the scrutiny. I don't want the hate, the racism, the crime. I don't want any of those problems. So you would say, well, if they can offer me the same amount of money, what's going to be better? And clearly what was better was for staying where he was at.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah. And, the crazy part about it, this may put a pause on other, superstars coming here, for that reason. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, before we wrap this episode up, man, what are you playing? I touched on what I'm playing currently right now, which is hard as hell, which is NHL 24. Yes. But what are you playing right now?
In the middle of probably 60% completion of playing God of War Ragnarok on PS5.
Okay.
Very intricate, deep storytelling as far as Kratos and his son Atreus. They are dealing with Odin and Thor right now, which is very surreal because it's not exactly the story of what Marvel portrayed with Odin and Thor and Loki, but it's eerily similar. In the story, Atreus is labeled as the chosen one who's going to stop Ragnarok from happening and defeating Odin. Odin is kind of the anti-hero, so he's like a villain in the story, but he's not. So there are people who want to get rid of Odin because they feel like he's ruining the 9 realms, and then there are people who don't feel that way. And so Kratos is on the side of Odin's got to go, and whatever I got to do to get rid of him to save the 9 realms, that's what he's going to do. His son, however, doesn't want the violence. He doesn't want the war. There's a prophecy that says in order for Odin to fall and for them to win, Kratos also must die. So it's like, it's so crazy. They're labeling his son as being Loki, even though he's not related to, how Marvel goes with Thor and Loki.
It's not canon.
So, but they're saying Kratos had a son with a frost giant, and that's who Atreus is, which if you're looking at the story, that's who Loki is.
Right, for sure.
He's half god, half frost giant. So they use some of it and then they didn't. So it's crazy to go through.
Is this foreshadowing something that we don't know about?
I'm not saying, but I'm saying it's very cool to play the game because it's definitely playing on something that could be what's actually about to happen over in some cinematic universe. But yeah, that's what I'm playing right now.
That's cool. Yeah. So you mentioned on something. So it'll give me the space to be able to talk about it. You have season 2 of What If comes out on my mom's birthday, December 22nd, which is wild. 9 episodes. Super excited about that. So yeah. If you have never seen What If, please go to Disney Plus and go watch season 1. It makes for fun storytelling. Jeffrey Wright is the What is his title? Is he the Watcher? What is the
yeah,
I can't think of
he would be the Watcher. Yeah, he's the voice of the Watcher.
Right? Yeah, he is the Watcher. Right? Yeah, is that the term for him?
Yeah,
yeah. You know, it's not the Overseer. No, it's the Watcher.
It's the Watcher.
And so, so that is really cool. So season 2 comes out there on the 22nd, 9 episodes, and so that'll take us to Marvel 4 because of course we touched on Marvel 4 because that's what we always do. Games right now. I just finished playing Spider-Man 2. That is 100% completion. I had my track coach beat that in 4 days. He said that he got 4 hours of sleep total.
Oh God,
for the week. I said, "You fool!" Virgil's up, and that was really funny. But that was a great game.
When I finish
game of the year,
when I finish this, I will pick up and start over on the first Spider-Man. And then I have Miles downloaded onto my hard drive, so I will just go in order. And however long that takes me, I'm just gonna play them in order as I intended to.
That's a great plan. You're gonna be consumed with a lot of hours, but it's fun. It's fun play. I'm playing currently right now NHL 24. It's a hell of a game. Those are one of those games, especially like that are the annual games. I've only by I think every other year.
Okay,
so you can skip out on, I skipped out on Madden this past year because I bought the one with Madden on the cover. So what was that last year? 23.
It was Madden on the cover, and this year was Josh Allen, I believe.
Yeah. So I wasn't buying that one.
Well,
so
yeah, I know.
Yeah. So it was crazy. So it's a great game though. I mean, you talk about like the engine. You finally start to see the PlayStation 5 to its full potential right now as far as the processing and graphics and just overall gameplay. It's phenomenal. Speaking of, I just saw that PlayStation 5 Pro will be the most powerful system ever created. And so, when you talk about processing and gameplay and it's just pure speed of the game, PCs do it. And for the most part, these home game consoles have been trying to reach go after the PC realm, but now you have an opportunity to do it. And so we'll see what the PlayStation Pro looks like because what is it like Cyberpunk and things of that nature never really had the opportunity to, see its full potential because it was just too much game for that little system. Right. And so big chest day for that game, but they skipped leg day. So don't skip leg day, ladies and gentlemen.
Skip leg day.
All right, folks. This has been fun.
Oh, yeah.
You got any plugs this week?
No, man. Like you said at the beginning, man, check all our socials. Follow us on social media. Check us out on YouTube, Modest Man Media. Check us out on socials, Modest Man Media. Check us out individually on both of our sites. Keep supporting local business. Keep supporting Black-owned business. Keep doing our best to support these things. Because like he said, a lot of these stores aren't lasting, man. A lot of stores are going out of business. It's holiday season. Make sure you're out here putting money into the economy because it's important.
Absolutely. I have nothing. Peace and love. So, yeet!
Yeet!
Bye, y'all.